so what do we got here? We got jack stands, a jack, 7 quarts of oil filter, wrench. This is going to come in handy on the factory.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult to pull off. And socket set. That's all we need. All right.
Let's get started.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. First thing we need to do is pop the hood.
Do you promise?
What's that?
Do you promise you will actually buy me a new shirt?
Yes, I will buy you a new Minecraft shirt if your shirt gets dirty.
This
This part for you. So you gotta unscrew the oil cap. Now on most cars, the oil cap tells you what kind of oil that you need. So it says here, SA0W40. Okay, put the oil cap flat out of the way. Put the oil cap right over here so you don't lose it. What this does is lets the oil drain out faster because there's no pressure. All right, now we get on to jacking up the car. Okay, we're at the rear wheel. You're gonna put this wheel chock right underneath the tire, right there, and kick it into place. You gotta kick it into place. You want it to be jammed up against the tire, nice and straight. What does that do? You know what it does? It prevents the car from rolling backwards. So, right behind the front tire, there's a little notch right there. That's where you're going to be jacking from. You're going to put this plate here to protect the rocker panel here. Let's see if we can get the jack under now that we put a 2x4. What's up, dude? Okay. So, make sure this is tight so the jack doesn't leak. Okay, put that in there. Now, line this up underneath the plate. This is the jack pad, so it protects the car. Nice and slow first. Once you get the car touched, you're good. All right, now, we make sure we've got the car in gear. We make sure the brake, and we have the wheel chock in the back, all so the car doesn't roll backwards, okay? And then go ahead, pump it up. This is where we have the jack. When you go underneath the car, take a look towards the front. There is a little diamond or a little triangle right there. That's where you put the jack stand. Right there. We're putting this underneath the triangle, making sure we're on the plate, and then we can lower the car down slowly. Don't shine it up, please. That's perfect. All right, we are good. Now the jack stands keep you safe. All right, so I lost my helper for fear of ruining her Minecraft shirt. So we're gonna go ahead and drop the maintenance pan. There's 4 10mm bolts. And you're going to want to put some safety glasses on because all the dirt and debris that you pick up on the road is actually up inside of here. So it's a good idea to get some safety glasses on. By the way, they're outlined with these giant arrows that say 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also has the torque bolts to 35 inch-pounds. So right here we've got the oil filter, and right here we've got the oil drain plug. So we got these 2 areas to worry about. 2 seconds and then we're done. If you still have the factory oil filter in, you're definitely going to need to use a tool to get this out. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a 13mm socket and pop open the drain port. It shoots out of here pretty big. You want to make sure you have enough capacity for 7 quarts of oil, and a long oil pan goes a long way. And this thing shoots out at about 1.5 feet away from where you start. First time changing the oil, you're going to want to just keep in mind, keep pressure on the bolt, keep pushing that spool all the way in until you're at the last thread, and then pull it out and lift it up. There you go. This particular tray has a filter drain slot, which is kind of cool. So we're gonna utilize that. Once all the oil is out of here, we'll go ahead and pull the filter out. You don't want to pull the filter out until you've drained all this out first. By the way, all of this oil I pour back into the quart containers, and then I take it back to anywhere like Advanced Auto Parts, AutoZone. They have oil collection bins where you can just pour this in and drop them off. Good camera angle here. So we're going to rotate this without spilling any of it all the way around, so we can get that underneath the oil filter. There we go. It's a windy day out, just be careful because that little stream of oil tends to blow all over the place. This part could tend to get a little bit messy. Okay, so first try with your hands. There we go. This filter is going to pop out by hand. Let me just get this thing underneath it. There we go. Okay. Same thing with the last one. Try to keep it level so you're not spilling oil over yourself like this. It's always best to let it drip out before you kind of remove it. There we go. Let's hope that's a good angle. Again, just patience here. If you keep trying to yank this thing out while it's full, it's going to be a holy mess. I think I've gotten to the point where we've got most of the spill out, so we're just going to go ahead and get messy here. Same thing, keep upward pressure on the oil filter to make sure you don't just drop it and spill it every once in a while, checking to make sure if it's loose or not. This is a messy part here. Okay, it's loose. Turn it upside down. Oh, and try not to drop it inside of your oil container. Alright, let that whole thing drain out, clean yourself up. Alright, so we're back about 10 minutes later. Gonna go ahead and seal off the drain plug. I like to tighten it down just so I don't forget. I don't have the torque specs on this. If I do find an actual service manual with the torque specs, I'll be more than happy to share those in the description, but I snug it and then give it one extra pull. I don't over tighten it. I've been changing oil for years. I was actually an oil change tech at one of those dreaded quick lube places for a couple of years, so I get the feel for it, I guess. Alright, so now that we're done draining, I'm going to slide the drain pan over here just so I can get my head underneath. There we go. Now I like to wipe around the edge. If you don't have a lint-free towel, just make sure you don't catch anything and leave any junk in there. I like to make sure that the spot where the rubber seal goes is clean, free of debris. And I'll rub my finger over it to make sure it's good. Alright, so I'm using a royal purple filter because I don't have a specific reason. I just started using them. I've already taken some fresh oil and lubricated the O-ring there. Screw this guy back up. It's snug, and with a clean glove on, no oil on the glove, I hand tighten it as tight as I can. And then I use another hand to help out, and that's how I make sure it's in. I'm sure there's a spec on that as well, but again, I've been doing this for a while, and hand tight is good. Factory tight was ridiculous. It took I actually dented the filter with a wrench trying to get it off. So as tight as you possibly can go with your hand should be good enough. Alright, so we've got this tightened, this tightened. I leave all of this open until I go ahead and fill it back up again. I run the engine for a bit, and then I go ahead and come back down here and check for leaks before I button it back up. Alright, so let's go topside. Got a good angle on this, but for this one, I've got the Cervini shaker kit installed, so it makes the oil fill port a little bit out of the way. So I picked up this, I need to get a flexible one, but this one will do for now. I'm going to line up 6 quarts of oil. Yes, I know it needs 7. But to start off, I'm going to line up 6 quarts of oil. Get that rolling. Wish there was a way to bend this. Oh, maybe there is. Let's see. Just need to get it under that lip. I guess that'll work for now. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so this video is specific to the Scat Pack 6.4 liter or 392 cubic inch engine. I would allow for about an hour to complete this job, 2 if you have not done this before. The details and the type of oil and filter can all be found in the owner's manual, and I'll drop a link to the online owner's manual in the comments. Changing your oil is a quick and easy job to do, especially on this car. It often takes less time than driving to the dealership and waiting for them to do it. It also costs you less too. Changing your own oil does not void your warranty. Just be sure to keep your receipts and log your mileage so you can provide maintenance records for the next owner or the dealership. You need minimal tools to perform the job, and all the supplies can be purchased locally or via Amazon. Here are the tools and supplies you're going to need. 10mm 1/4 inch or 3/8 drive socket for the maintenance pan, 13mm 3/8 drive socket for the oil drain plug, wheel chocks, low profile appropriately weighted jack, and you're also going to need 2 appropriately weighted jack stands. Don't ever try to work on your car with a jack alone. Please always use jack stands. In this video you're going to see me use 2 10-inch 2x4s. Put them side by side under one of the front tires to boost the car up enough to get the jack under. If you got a low profile jack, you're probably not going to need this. Supplies for the 2015 Scat Pack: you got a royal purple or SRT oil filter, and 7 quarts of oil that meets Chrysler material standards. It's MS12633. I've been using Pennzoil Ultra Platinum 0W40, which I have on Amazon Subscribe and Save, and they deliver every 6 months. This was the easiest way to meet the MS12633 that I could find, and I've had no issues with it. Links again to everything is going to be in the description. Another note, if you have a blacktop driveway, it's best to put metal or plywood base underneath your jack stands so the pressure is distributed evenly. Often jack stands with 4 points sink into the blacktop. I want to finish by saying, if you don't know your way around the engine bay or how to properly use jacks or tools, please have someone who does this to assist you. My dad got me into this many years ago. I remember sitting on the fender as of his '66 Impala. I was wearing a cardboard bib and adjusting the lifters of the engine while it was running just to get rid of the valve tap. I did my own oil changes back in the day growing up, and I also did a few years working in those dreaded quick lube places. Knocking out somewhere close to like 20 cars a day. While you did not see me use a torque wrench, I want to note it's always best to follow manufacturer's the service manual to make sure everything is reinstalled to the proper tightness. With this video, I just hope to encourage someone like me who does not want other people touching their car to just do it themselves. It's pretty simple, and that's that. There we go. It is exactly above center of the safe zone. Let's get the oil flowing. Before you start it up, put the oil fill cap back in. Get any caps you may have left around the engine compartment out there. Any tools that you may have left in the engine compartment out of there. Check for tools. Check for stray caps. Confirm everything is good underneath. And let's fire it up. down. If you want to reset the oil, you hit the turn it into the run without the car running. Alright, so we go to oil life. So you go to vehicle info, oil life, and you hold the OK button on the dash or on the steering wheel and hold it to reset. There we go, 100%. Now, last step is to go back under the car, check for any leaks, and put the maintenance tray back on. So, you want to make sure your oil filter, feel around it. If you didn't run the engine too long, it's not going to be too hot. Feel around it for oil. Now remember, you wiped up all the oil around the oil filter. Alright, so if you feel any oil on it, chances are you got a leak. That's good. Again, we've tightened this drain plug. Feel around that. No oil because we wiped that all up as well. Everything's good to go. We're going to pop the maintenance pan back in. So we want to make sure these clips, two, and then these two right here, are in place. I shook out the maintenance pan to get all the road debris out of it. Now the maintenance pan goes up and under the lip here. So you're going to want to pull down the lip and slide this thing in there. There we go. Nice. Okay, and just in case you can't see, hopefully this works out. Here's this lip right here. You want to slide the maintenance pan underneath it. And I usually put the 4 bolts back in by hand. Okay, so these guys are 10mm bolts. And again, torque is 35 inch-pounds. You want to tighten them down using a torque wrench. Unfortunately, I lend out my tools and I don't have my torque wrench back yet. So the reason for that low torque is because all these are just metal clips that are holding it in place. So if you over tighten it, you're going to strip out those clips. So I just snug these things and check them regularly. Finger tight. Again, 1 finger tight. Not a lot of pressure. That's it. We are done. Now about that 7th quart of oil. I usually put the 6 quarts in, make sure it's in the safe zone. I lower the car, and then we'll do another check. To lower the car, it's exactly the same. You jack up the car, remove the jack stand, slowly lower the car. Last step is to transfer all that back into your little tiny containers so you can go ahead and recycle it. Local auto parts store will help you out with that. For me, Advanced Auto Parts has a place to go. And we also need to check the oil level one last time. Got that there. Now again, 6 quarts of oil gets me up. Actually, it looks like I need that 7th quart. This is a first. I'm going to put in some of it, not all. So I put in between 6 and 6.5 quarts of oil. I run the engine for about a minute or two. I come over here and I check to make sure that we have oil in the safe zone, and we are to the top of the safe zone. Now, this works for me because I check my oil every single time I fill up the tank. So if I'm a little bit low, I never get to the point where it's dangerous because I always have oil in the trunk and I always check the oil every single refuel. So that's it. You don't want to dump in the full 7 quarts of oil because you may have some residual in the engine. You don't want to have too much oil in there. If you check it every fuel fill or every other fuel fill, you'll be safe. So that's it. Listen, if helped you out in any way, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're stopping by for the first time, please subscribe. And last but not least, as always, thanks for watching.